Okay, my wonderful friends, who doesn't want to be healthy? Who doesn't want their loved one to be healthy? I don't know anybody that's in that condition. Now, how do you get healthy? How do you stay healthy? Just keep going to doctors to make you healthy? No. Your body should make you healthy on its own. And what does that? Your microbiota. Okay, my friends, I'm just going to start right out at the conclusion. The conclusion is that if you replace the gut microbiota, which is the bacteria, in your gut, and you are an old person, and you replace it with young person's gut bacteria, you get younger. And guess what? If you take an old person's gut bacteria and you put it in that young person would get old. What does that tell you? It tells me that you want to get some good young microbiota in you to reverse your aging conditions. The bacteria in you literally does every single chemical thing that's in your body, every single one. The bacteria is the ones that create the enzymes, the proteins, the catalysts. They create the mucus. They deliver the products. They pick up the garbage. They do everything. And once you kill them with antibiotics, you are vulnerable. And if you don't get a good transfer of all of these different bacteria from your parents and from your childhood, you're going to be sick in older age. You're just not going to have the bacteria that's there to do the job to keep you young. Now, the reason I know about this, I've been studying this for a very long time. I've had very, very good results working with people all around the world, not with fecal transplants, which is the bacteria that actually grows in your gut, but just with probiotics, over-the-counter probiotics. They help. Not like this, though. This is like a new lease on life, getting these new bacteria to grow in you. How do you do that? What are they? Where do they come from? How did you get them originally? How can you keep them? When do they proliferate in your body? When do you stop acquiring them? None of these things there's no answers for any of these things right now. I have some, and there people are looking right now to try to understand this. And if you look up, hold on one second. All right, this is brand spanking new research, and a lot of it came from the research that was done on probiotics and how they affect the health. And this is here is fecal transplant, new tool, fight against age, transplant, home therapy for the frail, and people that are frail. It's a home therapy. And, you know, if they don't allow this or they make it so expensive, it'll go on the brown market, not the black market. Could a fecal transplant one day be the secret eternal youth? Fecal transplant reverses hallmarks of aging in the neuroscience. Older patient age associated with similar safety, but it's all very safe too. Conclusion, age 80 plus was associated with a higher likelihood of relapse after FMT for recurrent, although the overall FMT success was high. All right, don't forget now, it says the overall was very good. Furthermore, it was safe and well tolerated. It remains an important treatment modality for recurrent CDI in the elderly. It doesn't just for CDI, for everything. 100% of the diseases you get, basically. Almost every one of them is associated to a bacteria being weak in your body. If you get a young person's bacteria, you could be right back up and running again. All right, here's one. This is the most deadly form of cancer there is. Fecal microbiota transplants may aid melanoma immunotherapy resistance. Now don't forget, young poop is the best, healthy poop is the best. What did they do? They took 15 patients, and they took, so here it is, one of the studies included 7 donors, which they gave the poop, and 15 recipients from the Department of Medicine. All right, now, here's what they did. All the donors, all the ones that gave the poop, were patients with the cancer, with metastatic melanoma. who had responded to an anti-PD-1 immunotherapy drug. So they responded favorably. Not completely necessarily, just favorably, and then they responded 6 out of the 15 to this particular therapy. But they already given them tainted poop. They should try the same study again with try them with excellent quality, young, healthy poop. Alright, this can get a little complicated, but it's actually kind of simple. You have what they call stem cells, and they're like the stem of a tree, and it gives off a branch here and a leaf here and a flower and so forth. Well, what this stem cell does is it gives off lymphoid for your lymph system, which is the dump, and it creates a stem cell to create different types of dump cells, dump workers, a B and a T, and a natural killers in the lymph system, lymphoblasts. And then it also creates the myeloid stem cells, which are the red blood cells and platelets and so forth in the rest of your body. This is the dump, this is the good working section. And remember this name right here, neutrophil. I'm always talking about that. Alright, so just so you understand, you see these white blood cells? These are the white blood cell section. These are the things that your immune system are supposed to break down things, and these are the dump part, the lymph. And they bring things to the lymph nodes, and at these lymph nodes there has to be a bacteria there that lives there that says, all right, bring me some of that garbage, I know what to do with it, I live here, I know how to handle it, and I'll break it down. Well, if that bacteria is not there, it doesn't break down. Eventually you get toxified, and it breaks through the lymph node and you get cancer. Now these things do something different: neutrophils, basophils, and eosinophils. Hold on a second. Alright, this is the neutrophil. Alright, it's a white blood cell. It's very important in a part of the immune system, and it helps the body to fight infection. When microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses enter this body, the neutrophils are one of the first immune cells to respond. I can show you them responding. Check this out. This is called "Your Textbooks Are Wrong." This is what cells actually look like. Now let me go back here to the beginning. This is Gokul. He's from a big university somewhere out west.
Something I will never forget. The hair on my hands just stood up. It's a microscopic universe within each cell.
This is an unprecedented view of the cellular world, where we can actually...
All right, I'm just going to cut in before she says it, and I'm going to back up a second and let her go through the spiel. But what you're going to see here, this is literally an immune cell. That's an immune cell. Inside that cell is all this kind of stuff going on. These are, I believe, bacteria or mucus or enzymes, whatever. This is literally a little gobbler that grabs up all this stuff and then goes right out through these membrane walls to deliver that product to wherever it's needed, to kill something or whatever, because these are immune cells. Now these attack invaders. Now I'm going to back it up, and this is very good. And like I say, this is Gokul, and I can't remember what university, but this channel is called Seeker. And here it goes.
This is an unprecedented view of the cellular world, where we can actually see immune cells scooping up sugars in the ear of a zebrafish in real time.
Focusing only on the crawling immune cells, we've noticed two classes of them. One was not hungry at all, but it was very active in terms of trying to figure out, what the environment is. There's another...
All right, before I go any further, I'm just going to explain to you about that one. That particular cell that he's talking about, this one here that goes around, it doesn't eat anything, it's a sniffer. If it finds a molecule in there that does not conform to what it should be and is invading, it goes back and tells the other immune system to build something to go out and attack it.
It's very active in terms of trying to figure out, what the environment is. There was another one that was kind of slouching around with a lot of food in its belly. We can actually...
He said food in its belly. That's not food in its belly. It goes around and grabs what it needs to go out and deliver it to break something down, I believe. I mean, they do eat. The bacteria do eat. But I don't think that's what it was doing there. It was grabbing up something to deliver it to wherever it was needed to make life work and keep you from being damaged.
conceptualize and visualize and analyze the contents of each of these cellular compartments in this crawling immune cell as it's kind of, scooping up its environment. I mean, that is a level of details no one's seen before.
We're living in a new era of cell biology, where microscopy advancements are giving biologists the opportunity to reveal the hidden patterns of cells. What we expect to learn from here on out will transform our understanding of human health and rewrite the textbooks on the fundamental unit of life.
All right, I'll just leave it at that. This is absolutely fabulous what they're learning now. And literally, I'm not lying, every single thing there is has a membrane surrounding it. Every one of those cells, every bacteria has a membrane. Every cell has a membrane. Every little virus and all of that stuff coming into you have membranes surrounding them, protecting them from their environment. That's what a membrane does. It still has to let things come in and go out. You got to dump the trash, and you got to get something in good to eat and survive and keep the cell going. That's the nature of life. So the bad has to go, the good has to come. Well, how do you, if that thing is in there living in you and it's alive and it's bad for you, how do you get it out of there? You have to send in a badder guy. Seriously, you got to send in a guy that can come up and attach to that guy and say, all right, that's it. He squirts in some goop and it kills him. And how did they do it? With magnets. I'm not kidding you. They're magnetic. Okay, we're talking about the neutrophils, and here it is right here. These are the two conditions which are, one of them is neutropenia, which is a condition where your neutrophil count is too low, and that is causes of this condition are cancer treatment, autoimmune diseases, infections. That kills off the bacteria causing this condition. Now watch this. This is neutrophila. Neutrophila, also known as leukotosis, occurs when your neutrophil count is too high, which is often the result of bacterial infection. What do we cause here? This is the killing the bacteria. This is having too much. So to combat the infection, immature neutrophils leave your bone marrow too soon and enter into the blood system. So they're supposed to get strong and healthy in your bone, and they're not. They're getting out into the, and you don't have enough strong. That's what they say. Now, a lot of, I'm telling you, I think a lot of this is guesswork, to be perfectly honest with you. But I do understand what causes these conditions is bacterial issues. See, what causes the count problems? Infections, inflammation, injury, certain types of leukemias, drug reactions. These are all interactions with the bacteria that's in your body, which is in the membranes. Here it is, what causes the low. Infection, chemotherapy, leukemia, vitamin deficiency, autoimmune disease, Crohn's, bowel disease, lupus, all of the same things we're talking about. It's all bacteria. All right, here's how they're going to treat it. Take some more antibiotics. Get a bone marrow transplant. Why don't you get a fecal transplant? Change or stop taking your medication. Taking corticosteroids if you have an immune disorder. Well, the immune disorder is because you don't have the bacteria. Treating underlying medical conditions, yes, well, getting a white blood cell transfusion. Why not try a fecal transplant and see what happens? Because all of these things are reactions to having issues with bacteria in your gut. Now, here is hopefully some good news. There is a company here, it's called Microbiome, mapping the gut immune axis for better medicines. Now, they want to solve medicine's toughest unmet needs by unlocking the power of the human gut to discover small molecular therapeutics. And they work with some big names, it appears. I don't know anything about them now. A friend of mine sent me this who is in this business. He runs labs for food service testing, bacterial testing, and there's a lot more to my friend than what I'm going to tell you about right now, because I don't want to involve him too much in this. But he's a very good consultant of mine, and we discuss this pretty regularly about bacteria. I mean, that's what we talk about a lot. And he sent me this saying, take a look at these people and see what you think. Now, this is uncovering 95% dark matter, which is, they're talking about the microbiome, not dark matter, dark matter. Now, we believe that the cure to immunological disorders is hidden amongst a vast network of gut microbial DNA. I agree. We built the largest gut DNA atlas to access novel therapeutic chemical space. That I don't know anything about, but that would be great. And what they do, apparently, for what I understood from my friend, is they actually look at the sequences of the DNA and they compare that to what the good sequences of the DNA should be in, I guess, in some of these gut bacterias. And then they sequence them back to being correct, and then they put them back into you. Now, there's other ways of doing this, which is fecal microbiome transplants, which is nothing more than poop from somebody going into somebody else. Now, obviously, it has to be taken care of in good shape and all that stuff, and make sure there's no bacteria that you don't want. Because you do want the bacteria. You want a ton of it. But you have to put it through some kind of processes that either isolate the bad bacteria and get rid of it, or keep it to a minimum where it doesn't bother you. Because you do have bad bacteria in you. Everybody has it. You have good and bad. But the good bacteria, if it's along with the bad bacteria, will keep the bad bacteria in check. Think about this. Your skin cells, your body cells, every bit of you is being, sometimes it dies. And it continuously, it's called apoptosis. It's programmed cell death. They start working, they do their job, they live their life, they die, they have to be consumed. They have to be literally broken down. Now, why would that get broken down only when it's dead? Why wouldn't it get broken down before it died? It's the same cell. A couple seconds later, it's getting broken down. Why? First of all, it's not being maintained with more nutrition because it says it shut it off. How did it shut it off? Why wasn't the stuff come in? It's programmed. It says, I am going to turn on a couple of little magnetic signals. One over here. Whoops. Turn two on there instead of one. One over here and one over here. If those two are on, it means I'm ready to go. If they're not on, I only have that one on. Don't kill me. Now, the bacteria is coming around and says, ooh, there's two of them on. Zip, done. Eats it up, turns it into poop out over to the lymph nodes. And all that is done by bacteria and magnetism. I know. It's magnetism. Bacteria are magnetic. All right. These are transition metals. Every one of these is in your blood, 100%. Now, you see all these different oxidation states? Well, what is an oxidation state? It's a polarity. It's a magnetic potential. That's all it is. These are in aqueous solutions. They are attached, the water molecules and so forth, they have little polar grabbers. They call them ligands. And they flow through your body and they have little magnetic attachments. And what are they attaching to? Bacteria. And what is the bacteria attaching to? Other little products that are coming through your body that also have magnetic signatures. And that's how they attach to know what to attach to break down. Because you have to have the right bacteria for the right product. If you don't have the right bacteria and you eat something like gluten and you don't have the bacteria that breaks down the gluten, you get I can't eat gluten. Oh no, I hate gluten. I can't eat gluten. Well, the bacteria is not right. All right, listen to this. What is a bacteria? Well, a bacteria is a single cell. That means it divides to multiply. It's always the same. That are invisible to the naked eye. I mean, these puppies are tiny. Many bacteria are found both inside and outside organisms, including humans. Bacteria are found on the surface in substances like water, soil, food, making them a key player in everything. They're everywhere. You can't stop them. They're everywhere. Now, what is that sticking out the back? That's a flagella. You want to see what a flagella will do and how bacteria get to where they have to go? This is literally and I'm not kidding you, literally a motor. They even call it the stator. This is the flagella. It spins like that. And what does this filament do? It's a drive. It's a spin. You know how fast that thing spins? Thousands of revolutions in a second. I think it's almost 100,000 revolutions in a minute, something like that. Or maybe it's 1,000 revolutions a minute. It's very, very fast. Hold on. I just want to be sure. That's what it is. Some of them over 100,000 RPMs in at least one species, 2, 3, whatever. It seems amazing how fast they spin, but they do. And why are they spinning so fast? Because that thing's got to get to where it's got to get fast, through your whole entire human body. And how does it get there? Through this, the interstitium. All right, now this has just been discovered that this is the interstitium. It's a fluid-filled tissues contained in, they're found throughout the body, both just below the skin and in the digestive, respiratory, urinary tract, everywhere. They are the membranes. They are literally the membranes. Okay, I want you to watch
Today's
this.
findings could eventually mean big changes for the way doctors confront cancers and other deadly diseases. A group of scientists believes it's discovered an elaborate path of fluid-filled tissues that makes up a previously unknown organ called the interstitium.
Okay, let me just explain to you. You can watch this whole thing, but this is all these little bags of fluid. They thought when they first discovered them, they thought they were just, isolated little bags of fluid, gave you a little cushion so your skin could move here and there. It's called the epithelium. Well, over the course of time, and I've been working with these people for 10 years, I started with Gil Hedley long ago, who is one of the top guys in fascia, and he's friends with the guy that wrote this article, the guy that's in the video here. I think it's Neil Thies is his name. Now, but to get back to the interstitium, here, this is a fluid-filled highway, and this is where those immune cells live that I showed you that Gokul was saying they're scooping up this and that. And then you have these bacteria in there. They're so small, there's no way you can see them. You need a really, really powerful microscope to see them. And they're going zip, 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 through 100,000 RPMs. That's what they do. And if you don't have the bacteria in here to save you, you will die. And here's how it happens. This side is got to be the bad stuff stays out. This side is your safe zone. What protects you? Literally the mucosa. Now, what happens with invasion? Invasion says, I want to go into this tissue and eat some of the collagens or whatever it wants down here. Well, the guys that are watching, the bacteria say, whoa, 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 get out of here. And they squirt them with mucus, and they go. Now, if they didn't get them with the mucus, they still try to get in here, they'll send out a chemistry set, which is a program that has all the bacteria, that has the magnetic signature of that invader. It glues right to it like a magnet, and then it squirts it with its enzyme, case is closed. Now, where does it get that program to create that enzyme, which is so elegant? If you see proteins, and I'll show them to you, and they're called enzymes and proteins, catalysts, all the same thing. It has a zillion different little magnetic pinpoints all over it. And that's how it knows how to attach to things that it has seen before and you are immune to. It knows it's a bad thing, let's go kill it. How does it know that? That is a thing that's stored in a place in your memory that's called CPG islands. And they become, I'm going to just get a little technical with you, they become methylated in a certain way that the C and the G, I believe, changes place, whatever. But it causes a change in these islands, which are program islands, just like a little USB stick. It's an island of programs. So when the bacteria says, the sniffer bacteria goes and says, hey, whoa, 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 I see something out here. And he says, the other guys say, well, what is it? He says, here's the signature. Here's the chemical signature of it. Here's the magnetic targets. They send that off to the CPG Islands, CP Islands is, oh yeah, I know what to do. Send out some of the Bucosa and Morgullosa and, Lactobacillus and a couple other guys. Make up this little cocktail, send it over there. It has all the magnetic spots. It'll attach, squirt the stuff in, the thing dies. So you have a program somewhere stored, which is your immune system. It's your immune memory. All right, because right now we don't have a memory against COVID. These COVID things are coming at us, and there's nobody that's got a program. So you need a program. That's why they're giving you the mRNA, and that's sort of not an exact target. If your body makes it, it knows exactly the signature, 100%. Right now we've got mRNA stuff that it's working in that same area. It's working in, what they think affects that particular type of invasion. And this appears to be working pretty good. And I'm not saying anything against it. It's just that your body will make it so that it's so elegant, you won't believe. When you see the enzymes in catalysts, I'm going to show you in a second, it's incredible. But they're going through here 1,000,000 miles a second. If this starts to get eaten through and you don't have the guys to respond, you're done. And that's why lymph nodes they're all over your body. And once you break through one, the only reason it broke through is because it didn't have the right kind of bacteria to protect itself. So all the other lymph nodes will not have that bacteria either, or they might be very weak in it, because they will go through these fluid-filled highways to go where it's needed, if you have it. And you get it from one of these fecal transplants, apparently, if somebody had it in their good feces. And as a young person's, you're going to get a young person's healthy feces. And that's what it is. The young makes you young. Old feces in a young mouse makes it old. And then you give it young mouse feces again, it goes back to being young. This is what this research says. I'm not saying this. It's not my words. I know it's true. But that's what the research says. I didn't do that research. But I showed you the papers, and you can look it up. Now, how do I know that these things travel all through here so fast? Because they gave people tattoos, and they were finding the little particles of the tattoos going to their kidneys and all over places. They find them in these fluid-filled bags. So they know they're moving real quick through the body. And plus, you take something, put it under your tongue, which is getting very close to this layer, instantly it goes through your body. I mean, it's everywhere very, very, very fast. I take pills right here somewhere. Every now and then I get leg cramps. I take these, I put 2 pills under my tongue. Within a minute, I'm doing pretty good. Otherwise, I'm screaming. I'm screaming. See, this is why we should be trying it for melanoma. Understanding the interstitium could be particularly significant in diagnosing and tracking the spread of cancers. They think the cancer gets into the lymph and spreads around. It's just the opposite. If you don't have the right bacteria to go out and kill the cancers, then the cancers take hold and they break through the membranes. So here's what they're saying. It's particularly significant in diagnosing and tracking the spread of cancers and other diseases that spread throughout the body through these fluids, they think. Interstitial fluid is the source of lymph. Lymph is the dump. That brings it to the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes have to have the right bacteria or they will be destroyed by the dump garbage that comes down. It's toxic. There's all kinds of toxins. If you don't have the right bacteria in the node down there, the ball that this stuff is coming in, it's supposed to and out it goes. Well, if there's nothing there to eat it up, you got a problem. It dispatches white blood cells, the body's immune system, infection fighters, to wherever they're needed. All right? So this is in this fluid, it goes everywhere, but the lymph is in that fluid as well. So if you can't deal with that lymph in the lymph nodes, which is the dump, you will be toxified. You'll get you'll be invaded. It'll break right through the wall. I'll show you how it breaks through the wall. All right, remember the mucosa? This is the upper layer where there's this. Now this is another layer down here where you have tissues below. Cancers start with the external layers where you have invasion. And the invasion is not supposed to take hold. Well, all of a sudden it starts to nibble into a little bit of this. Well, there's no mucus to get it out of there, or there's no enzymes or catalysts to go and attack it. It starts to nibble in. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and then it starts to create a really invasion. Once it goes through there, that's stage 4. Stage 1 is where it's just barely breaking the surface, and you're seeing discoloration and the borders and so forth, and then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you can't fight it back with bacteria, bacteria is the one supposed to come out and kill this. All right, so don't forget now, there's all kinds of different bacteria, and they have different types of magnetic particles in them, and those magnetic particles are set up so that they find their prey magnetically, and here's how. All right, I talked to you about proteins and enzymes and catalysts. Well, guess what? Here they are. Bacteria make that, and they make the same thing over and over and over and over. The same enzyme. Can you imagine how complicated that is? Now, you see all these little tabs sticking off at the end here? Those are all little magnetic tips. Anything that's a one tip on the end here, there's a certain polarity. It's just the way everything works. Now, they are little magnetic signatures. This is designed to find a molecule that can grab onto, I don't know, 20 or 30 or 500 of these. I don't know what it is. But it knows the bad guy to hook to. Just like that. And then inside this is going to squirt out well, this is actually the enzyme itself. And it goes in and attaches and kills it. But the bacteria comes up with its magnetic signature to another invader. And then this is the killer. This is the magnetic particles that go in and attach to the magnetic particles that make it strangle it or whatever it does. I don't know how it kills it, but it kills them. And here, listen to this. Enzymes are built of proteins folded into complicated shapes. I will say they're complicated. They present throughout the body, everywhere, the chemical reactions that keep us alive. These are the things that break down food, our metabolism. They rely on the work that enzymes carry out. Now, enzymes speed up, which means they catalyze, they're catalysts. They speed up chemical reactions. In some cases, enzymes make a chemical reaction millions of times faster than it would have been without it. Millions. And they can do millions of actual breakdowns literally in seconds. And the particle itself, that particular beautiful enzyme, doesn't even go away. It just goes like, bam, you're all gone. Zip, a million of them go away. Bam, another million go. Bam, and then all of a sudden it keeps going bam, bam, and there's nobody out there. It just goes away. How good could anything be better than that? Now, it gets a little more complicated. Perfect condition, cofactors, inhibition, But the key is, an enzyme is the thing that kills the things that are trying to kill you. And the only way you get that enzyme is you have a bacteria. And the only way you have the bacteria is if they're living in those membranes, and they are not dead from antibiotics, and they are not old and weak. And that's what happens. They get old and weak. You get old, you get weak. It's just a natural process. That's why when they say, anybody over 65 should get this, anybody over 85 is get this. And you could see the progression. I mean, I know it's in me. But I'm going to tell you one thing right now. As I've been taking a lot of probiotics, I'm feeling better. Not I could be just, I'm guessing at it, but I am, as a matter of fact. But I do feel better. Anyway, it's time to take this to the next level and get a lab going that can separate out the bacterias that we want to put into our bodies. And we need, just like this company here, this vast biome, I believe they want to figure out every single spot in your body where the bacteria lives that is resident around your kidneys, around your lungs, around your heart. How does it live in the chemistry of the big intestine, large intestine versus small intestine, rectum, colon? All of that stuff is your digestive area, and it's very, very sensitive to conditions that need a certain bacteria. And that's what I hope that's what they're looking for here. All right. They're trying to figure out immune problems. Well, that's how you're going to start, is to figure out what is missing in the area that you have an issue with. And as far as lymph nodes, they're all over your body. So if you don't have the bacteria in one lymph node, you're probably not going to have it in another. So that's why they say it's very, it goes, reoccurs a lot because you just don't have the bacteria. So you're going to get it again. They're going to treat you, but you're going to get it again. They're going to treat you, you're going to get it again. Now, if you had the bacteria in you, I say it's gone. Because the bacteria will take care of it by itself because it knows exactly what to do. It's not going to be trying to shoot everything in your body and kill all kinds of things that shouldn't be. And that's what happens with chemotherapy and all these things that they do that, target things to kill them. It's not just going to kill that one thing. They're not that good of a shot. The body is that good of a shot. It puts out a certain bacteria, gone. Okay, I'm going to leave it at this. This is Vast Biome. They're doing this mapping of the gut immune axis for better medicines. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And they need to know what bacteria lives in what places in the body, not just in the gut, because it's all created in the gut, but then it's dispersed to different organs that have different chemistry. And they want to do a large exploratory data collection. I applaud that, and to find out how the microbiome affects the immune system. I'm with you 100%, my friends. I hope I could help in any way I can.